Hello and welcome to the Agent Survival Guide podcast. This is our series, Agent Apps. I'm your host, Tina Lamoureux. This series introduces you to apps that will make daily life and your business run smoother. From fitness, travel, to personal planners, and more, we've tested them all. This week's apps are language translation apps. Whether that's for written or verbal language, these apps are going to help you. Maybe you bought a product and the packaging is in a language that you can't read. Or you're planning a trip to a country where you're not fluent in that language, or you don't know it at all. While these apps are not a replacement for learning a new language, you can use them to navigate simple everyday situations. We've covered language learning apps in a previous episode, and we'll have that linked in the description for you to check out. In my research for this episode, which included searching online, reading reviews, testing apps, and asking friends who had traveled overseas or lived overseas, it seemed like Google Translate dominated. But I still wanted to try out different apps, in case Google Translate wasn't the right fit for someone, and give other apps a fair chance. I'm not fluent in another language, nor am I planning a trip anytime soon. So this is how I tested the apps for audio translation. I had the apps listen to some video clips in other languages that had English subtitles on popular streaming services. Then I compared how well it translated the audio versus the subtitles. Visual translation was a lot easier to test out. I took pictures of instruction manuals and packaging in other languages and compared it to the English counterparts. The three apps I have for you this week are Papago by Naver, DeepL, and of course, Google Translate. This episode will be in a slightly different format than usual. I will be comparing the apps by category instead of reviewing them one at a time. We'll look at user experience, language libraries, offline use, price, and last is the accuracy of translations. Starting with user experience, looking at visuals and interface. All three apps have a similar look and feel. So if you're already familiar with Google Translate, Papago and DeepL should be easy to use. For all three apps, the main screen has a text translation option, choice of languages, a button for single voice recording, a button for live conversation translation, and a camera option. You are also able to use all three apps without creating an account, but the option is there if you want to. With all the similarities between the three apps, here is where DeepL differs from the other two. The camera option. On Google Translate and Papago, the camera automatically detects and selects the text in a picture. With Papago, you have to manually select where on the picture the text is by drawing over it with your finger. DeepL does have a Select All button, but when I tried it for translating the back of a DVD cover from Japanese to English, it could not detect any of the text. Yet, when I drew over the text with my finger, it was able to translate it. Papago and Google Translate had no problem translating the DVD case. For all three apps, when it comes to translating through the camera, the angle, focus, and distance play a role. If the text seems off from the context of the object or text you want to translate, try using a different camera angle. Like if you're trying to translate a restaurant menu and it translates into a paragraph about bicycles, that's a good indicator that it's not working. Try zooming in or out because this may help the app with the translation. Fonts also play a factor. Google performed better at reading and translating different fonts then DeepL and Papago. So far, for user experience, Google and Papago are tied, because I was not a fan of the drawing over text feature on DeepL. Next, how big are the language libraries? Well, Google Translate offers 133 languages. DeepL offers 31 languages, while Papago only supported 13 languages at the time I researched this episode. Quantity doesn't necessarily mean better quality. In this case, Papago is a South Korean app that focuses on everyday conversations. And it is very popular in South Korea. So when it comes to day-to-day Korean language conversations, Papago does hold a small advantage over Google Translate. So you're traveling, you may not have great cell phone service or access to Wi-Fi. Can you use these apps offline? Good news on the Google Translate app, you can download over 100 of the languages on your phone. Papago has 3 language packs you can download. The first is English to Korean, Chinese, and Japanese. The second is Korean to English, Chinese, and Japanese. And third is Chinese to English, Korean, and Japanese. Unfortunately, DeepL does not offer any offline translation for their mobile app. If you want to download any content, it must be through their Pro version plan on a computer. They do offer the app for free download on Mac and PC. Looks like Papago and Google Translate win for offline use, while DeepL and Google Translate take the lead for the amount of languages they offer. Moving on to price, and great news. All 3 apps are free to use, and as I mentioned earlier, you don't need to create an account to use them. DeepL does offer paid plans for their web browser and computer versions, but those plans were more for business and translating documents than for recreational travelers. All right, we looked at user experience, language libraries, offline use, price, and last is accuracy of translation. This category is harder to assess due to the amount of languages between the apps, which languages you're translating to and from, and the fact that all languages are heavily nuanced. I tested the voice translation from Korean to English, French to English, and vice versa, because these are 2 languages that I know a few phrases and words for. The translation for simple everyday phrases were pretty similar across all 3 apps. The best overall, though, would have to be Google Translate, for its large selection of languages, offline use, and accuracy. Papago is great if you're traveling to Southeast Asia, and DeepL, well, it's somewhere in the middle. Google Translate and Papago are available for free download on iOS, Android, and both have a free web browser version. DeepL is available for free download on iOS, Android, Mac, and PC. I mentioned having an interest in Korean and French. What other languages do you speak or want to learn? You can let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next episode.